Hello, everyone. I just want to check. It's been a hot minute since I've streamed anything, so I want to make sure that my microphone is working and that everything is working. Let me pull up really quickly just so I am all on the same page. Make sure that everything is working on all of the platforms that I'm streaming on because Restream allows me to go on different platforms also. So let me just make sure that I am live. I see that there are some people watching, so at least I know I'm live on something. I'm gonna change probably over to portrait mode, for those of you that are on Instagram, so hopefully you can see me in a semi-normal. So let me pull that up quick. Pulling up Restream chats so I can see what you guys have to say. Really happy to be here with you guys today. I ran into a little bit of technical difficulties. I don't know if you can hear it. But my tower fan is like ridiculously loud today, and I'm not quite sure why. I've checked all of my processes running, no problems there, but computers be doing their thing. I'm gonna try to clean out the fan later. It's been a while since I've done that, so we'll get there. All right, let's pull this up. Happy Tal Talk Tuesday, everybody! For those of you that are here, I also, like I said, it's been a really long time since I've done Tall Talk Tuesday. So I'm not sure if all of you that are here today know kind of how it works. I started with Tall Talk Tuesday as not being a live platform. It was always just little tiny videos that I recorded, 2-minute chunks, of like positive messages that I was trying to send. So that is what Tell Talk originally was. Okay, hold on. I'm opening the chat. Okay. No chats yet. At least that's what it's showing me. But originally it started with Tall Talk Tuesday as something that was not live. But then I got requests to, hey, can you do like a Q&A afterwards where you talk about some stuff? And I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can do that. And then I was like, well, if they want a Q&A, then why don't we make it something that we can like actually interact back and forth? So that's kind of what's prompting the reasoning of making this a live, like a live thing. I see we're streaming on Facebook. I see we're streaming on Twitch. I see we are streaming on X. I see somebody in chat, which is great. It's my dad. So, way to go for family supporting family, right? But okay, I have some things that I want to talk about today for Tall Talk Tuesday. I'm going to keep it to a half an hour because sometimes we get on here and it's like a long time that we keep talking, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I also want to take an opportunity to save things for if I'm not going to be talking about it this week, that maybe I could talk about it next week. Originally, I was going to bring Cal Talk back a few weeks ago, but I had some personal stuff that happened, so I needed to kind of wait and take some time until I felt ready to bring it back. But I'm glad that I'm here. I had to redo in my streaming room. I had taken down like all of the stuff, and it had been just a normal room. No, no posters, no comics, no figures, no nothing. And so I realized it was time to bring that back. So over the last few weeks, I've been diligently working on finding all these Star Trek posters that I had shoved away, hanging them up, getting some more figures up. So um nobody in chat has confirmed, but can everybody hear me? My microphone is working okay, and hopefully that my fan noise is not too overpowering. Because I only see one person in chat right now, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm not, silently yelling into the ether. So if my microphone works, hear me? stop and check where to go, and then I'll move on, because otherwise okay, it says down. Okay, perfect. Uh, that is all I need. I have a dog right here next to me who's just chilling, so, but yeah, sound off in chat if you wanna, say hi. I'll definitely try to feature some of the stuff, read off what you guys have to say. And yeah, then we'll get into probably our topics for today. I have a few different topics. The biggest one being in November time, I had posted something up on X, kind of like a prompt of what you think your favorite, like your Star Trek comfort episode is. That doesn't necessarily mean your favorite Star Trek episode. It just means, like, when you are feeling down or when you're having a bad day, when something is going on, what is the Star Trek episode that you immediately think, "This is the one that I want to watch?" And so I posted the prompt out there and I got, like, 500 responses. I kind of was just thinking, "Oh, it'll be a fun prompt that people can think about," and I got like 500 responses, and I was like, "Okay, well, now this is an opportunity that I can take for all these responses and kind of record what people had said and then kind of compile a list of what people's favorite Star Trek comfort episodes are, like which ones were more popular and which ones were not popular, which ones kind of, I guess, would align with maybe what my comfort episode is, which ones don't." So I diligently went through every single response, or at least all the responses that social media would let me go through, and I recorded them all down and I put them on a chart. So we can talk about that chart in a little bit. So that's going to be the main topic for today, but there are a few other things that I do want to talk about while we have the time. Some shout outs of things that I think have been awesome in the Star Trek community, and also some things going forward that I'm planning on doing this year as I have some time, as I mentioned earlier this year, that I'm going to start pursuing content creation on a more regular level, trying to do it more full time. So it's exciting for me. But yeah, cool. The first thing that I want to talk about is something that I am looking forward to doing this week. And if you guys have not had a chance to see it, I do want to give a shout out. And then if you haven't heard about it, then hopefully you'll get a chance to learn about it as well. But I am talking about the Trek Geeks Trek Talks, which happened. I believe it was last week, a little bit a little bit before last week. Oh, Todd. Todd says, "Hi, Allie. Twitch works much better than Twitter. Chat is not working for me there. Great to see you here." Oh, good. Well, I'm glad Twitch is working. I'm glad it looks like Facebook is working, Twitch is working. Not sure about YouTube. Hopefully YouTube is working. I haven't had anybody sign in or shout in from YouTube yet. And then nobody from Instagram either, but I can't always see chat from every platform, but I'll always make sure to take a look at all the messages after the video is done. But yes, I want to go back to the Trek Geeks Trek Talks, which was benefiting the Hollywood Food Coalition. And so like I had said, I had to reschedule the last Tall Talk Tuesday because of some personal stuff that happened. Um, and it kind of like took me out of the running for a little bit. And it was right around when Trek Talks was happening. And so I was really upset that I didn't get to tune in. So if you didn't know what Trek Talks was, Trek Geeks brought together a ton of Star Trek actors, producers, artists, fans, hosted panels, um, people from, that are hosting things like Sid City Online, the LAOA team, all sorts of amazing Star Trek community members. And they all came together, and it was like an entire day that they raised money for the Hollywood Food Coalition, and they had panels that they talked about. So they, they talked about all sorts of different things. They had panels about, like Trektivism, which my friend Heather was on, and they had panels like they had a Picard panel where they talked about Picard. They had the Sci-Fi Sisters talked with some of Nichelle Nichols' family, and like it was all these panels were lined up all day, and throughout the day they raised money for the Hollywood Food Coalition, and I did not get a chance to watch. But the good thing about that is that it was all streamed on YouTube, and in that time that it was streamed on YouTube, it wasn't just live, so people can go back obviously and watch it later as people can go back and watch this thing later. Uh, and that is what my plan is tomorrow. So I'm going to be writing or watching through all of the Trek Talks, which I mean, we're talking about hours and hours of content that Trek Geeks put together. And they raised an incredible amount of money, which was matched by Rod Roddenberry for the Hollywood Food Coalition. And I just, it just goes to show the power of the Star Trek community. And I also, a lot of things came out during these panels that are things that I'm going to want to talk about later. So tomorrow, I'm going to be watching all the way through that and posting my thoughts on social media. So if you've had a chance to watch the Trek Talks, or if you haven't, you're welcome to watch along with me. I'm not going to be streaming it live. I'm just going to be posting my thoughts, but you're welcome to watch it and also react. Or you can comment on like the different things I'm going to have throughout here. Like the posts, if it's from a panel that you remember, uh, definitely just if you haven't seen that, check that out. And that was all put together by Trek Geeks. Like it wasn't like Star Trek put it together. Like Trek Geeks, the podcast network, put it together, and there was so much work that went into getting all of those Star Trek stars to attend. John Billingsley, um, and who else? Not just John Billingsley. Why her name is escaping me right now, and I'm gonna be banging my head a while later. But they had some amazing hosts, and you'll just have to check it out if you didn't already. I cannot shout out Trek Geeks enough ever. Having a chance to have worked with them in the past and have to have been on some of their podcasts, cannot boost them up enough. Okay, we talked about Trek Talks. Another thing that I want to talk about, which I originally was going to talk about earlier, I have my little list of things I need to go off of, and to keep myself on track. Because if any of you actually know me, I'll just ramble forever. But Star Trek Prodigy is on Netflix for those of you who have not watched it yet. After it dropped off Paramount Plus, it was picked up by Netflix. We're looking forward to the second season, and I myself am looking forward to many more seasons other than just season 2. I hope that we get more, but it's available on Netflix to watch, and they, like the producers, have said how important it is during this time that people are watching it on Netflix. That first month or that first chunk of time that it comes out, that's something that's really important where they want to get views. So if you love Star Trek Prodigy, or if you haven't watched it yet, this is the perfect opportunity if you have Netflix to head on over and give it a watch. I am so consistently I just remember, not that I wasn't excited for Prodigy because I absolutely was, but I feel like I automatically viewed it like, "Oh, it's gonna be like an animated kids show." I was 100% still gonna watch it because it was Star Trek related, but not I guess I just came into it with, like, the wrong view, because after I watched it, yes, it is a kid show, but there's so many deep cuts of Star Trek things that, like, only fans would know, which is kind of beautiful because especially if you're watching it with someone who's not familiar with Star Trek, you get, like, really excited about, "Oh, like, that's like an Easter egg, and I wanna tell you about it," but they haven't seen it. Uh, but it also was so enjoyable for me to watch. It wasn't something that I felt lacked in content, in morality. It had all of those key identifiers of Star Trek. So I absolutely adore Star Trek Prodigy. Been watching it over again on Netflix. There's some great callbacks and also some great character building for setting off in a completely different direction. Yeah, I think it's great when Star Trek shows go back to like bringing back legacy characters or like ships or referring to things that are in the past, but also I think a key element of Star Trek is looking towards the future, obviously, and being able to develop new characters and new adventures so that you can go in a completely different direction as well. So, yay for Star Trek Prodigy! Give it a watch. Um, I did not. After doing the poll last week and this week of what shirt I should wear, the Live Long and Prosper, won. So I'm sorry I didn't get to wear the Prodigy shirt today, but it'll be back in a different time. Probably like next time that I do Tall Talk Tuesday, that'll still be in the running up against another t-shirt because I have, oh my gosh, 300 Star Trek t-shirts probably. My entire wardrobe is just like overcome with Star Trek t-shirts and things. Um, I have some comments here. So Juan says, "Is season 2 coming out soon?" So, um, I I'm not for sure on this, but I don't know if they've announced an official date for season 2. I know they said they've been working hard on it. I will have to check back on that. I would hope, like, that it would be soon, especially with the momentum that it's gathering on Netflix to be able to, kind of continue with that. Todd also says, "I haven't watched Prodigy yet, didn't think I was in the target demographic, but we'll definitely give it a go soon." That's awesome. I hope that you do. Like I said, um, I I didn't 100% think that it was gonna be, like, something I don't wanna say that affected me so much, but I knew it was gonna be a Star Trek show, so I was excited to see it, and obviously, I always come into new Star Trek shows or new Star Trek with an open mind because you can't I mean, how are you supposed to talk about something or immediately judge something that you haven't already seen? I always try to watch just to make sure that I can form my own view of it, and so I did not think it was going to be, like, one of my favorite Star Trek shows, and it has ended up being one of my absolute favorite Star Trek shows. Um, it's also really, really cool to be able to see the Star Trek universe. I don't wanna say from the eyes of a child because that's not correct. I would say it really focuses on, like, those Star Trek values, but from, sometimes from the perspective of, like, how a kid would see it, which is sometimes, like, if you've ever worked with children or if you have children of your own, like, sometimes the things that they say or the things that they do just, like, kinda take you aback, like, they either say something really wise that you would never imagine, or like, "Oh," like, they're 10 years old and they just said something that I'm gonna remember forever. Um, but also, like, it also, like, paves ground for some incredible humor and, also just some really fun adventures that I would not think would be I don't wanna say appropriate, but, like, this is the perfect outlet for them to be able to do that. So, highly recommend. John says hi. He says, "I know it was a few days ago, but it was DeForest Kelley's 104th birthday." Yes, I have seen stuff about that. I'm currently doing a rewatch of Star Trek: The Original Series, so seeing a lot of him. Um, and then Juan says, "What I really want is the Section 31 movie to come out." For those of you that know me, you know that I actually am very excited about the Section 31 movie. I think it's gonna open up a new direction. Like I had said with Prodigy, like, there's so many different outlets to be able to to talk about, um, things that happen that are not necessarily the 100% forefront of the Star Trek universe. And yeah, of course, I love seeing, the Enterprise, like, with Strange New Worlds, I love being able to see that facet, but I also wanna know about all the other things too. Okay, we're getting down to the wire already, and this just goes to show that I could talk all day. So what I do want to do right now is I want to pull up my chart, and I am going to be posting this chart on social media after the stream today so that you guys can also see the data that I collected. But I want to talk about our Star Trek Comfort episodes. So let me just pull it up on my other monitor so I can talk about this with you guys. It took me a long time to to enter all this information in. So I guess I'm proud about that. But I'm curious before I say kind of what is people's Star Trek comfort episodes. I'm curious if you guys have any ideas of maybe what the top Star Trek comfort episodes might be. I don't know if any of you that are watching commented on that thread, but I'm curious if you have an idea of what the most popular Star Trek comfort episodes are. So if you want to post in chat what you think the most popular Star Trek comfort episodes are, not necessarily favorite episodes, but people's Star Trek comfort episodes, which means these are things like when people are feeling down or they're having a bad day or they just need to pick me up. What is the Star Trek episode that they would go to? So if you have an idea, post it in chat. I'll be reading them out. I also Rick says I'm watching Sins of the Father TNG right now. John says I still don't know if there's ever going to be a Star Trek 4 with Carl Urban. Fingers crossed. I'm definitely a pro Kelvin timeline person, and I could certainly create a video as to why that is. But we do have some thoughts of what comfort episodes are. We have Trouble with Tribbles. We have Inner Light. Another person said Inner Light. Great episode. I actually have a friend here in Okinawa that plays penny whistle, so I'm thinking about asking if maybe he can learn Picard's Picard's little Inner Light theme, and so maybe we can get together and play. Juan says, "In the Pale Moonlight," love that episode. Todd says, like, Enterprise Shuttlepod, Shuttlepod 1. Always like the episode, the Royale in TNG. Yeah, it's a great one. So we have some great thoughts. And so I guess I feel like I should start from the bottom, because I don't wanna give away the top spots right away. But we had some great episodes in here, and we also had episodes that were listed um, in the thread. But it wasn't just on X. I posted it on, like, Facebook and Instagram and stories and stuff as well. Uh, I had on this list people's comfort episodes from every single series. So every single series was mentioned. So props to saying like that to me is an indicator that of what I always say is like people are making their fandom their own. They are enjoying Star Trek their own way, and everyone enjoys Star Trek differently. So someone else, this might be their favorite series, and someone else, this might be their favorite series, and then we can still all coexist as one. But that is just indicative to me that like Star Trek is so much. It goes over all these series. So, Rachel says any episode except the singing one in Strange New Worlds. We don't have a fan of a musical episode. I see. It definitely had mixed reviews, but I do think that it is catchy and definitely funny. But okay, so like I said, every single series was mentioned. Someone listed every single Star Trek series like as some of their favorite episodes. On the lower side of things, I mean, there's a lot of episodes that just had one vote, and that doesn't mean that it's not a great episode. That means that everyone has different episodes that are their comfort episodes. But some of the one votes are Deja Q from TNG. Q episodes are always fun ones. We've had some short treks that are listed in there as having one vote. We have Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, is listed as only one vote. We have episodes like The Offspring, Voyager Shattered, Voyager Riddles, The Empath from the original series. One thing I also wanted to mention while it's on my brain right now, there were a lot of Voyager episodes listed. So like that, Voyager is my least rewatched series. As you can see, I have my dog in the back, but Voyager is my least rewatched series, and that seeing all these episodes listed, I need to do a Voyager rewatch for sure. I also let's move up into the ones that had 2 votes, and like I'm saying, it's not like the votes are not indicative of whether or not it's a good episode. That is up to you. Star Trek 2009 is listed as having 2 people who had mentioned that. I think that should be much higher. It should be 3 at least because I need to be on there as it being one of my comfort things. We have episodes like Necessary Evil, House of Quark, Star Trek Insurrection is in there. Discovery, Context is for Kings. We have things like Broken Bow, the pilot from Enterprise. Scorpion is listed on there as having 2 votes, which actually was an episode that I watched last night with Star Trek Watch Party. If you have not checked out Star Trek Watch Party, you definitely should. They every night of the week, they do a Star Trek Watch Party where you can log in and watch Star Trek with other Star Trek fans. They actually it starts at about 10 AM, so they are probably doing it right now. So you should check it out if you haven't. It's a group on Facebook called Star Trek Watch Party, and then you can log in and watch episodes. But yeah, we watched Scorpion last night, so that's definitely fresh in my mind. Rachel says 2009 is probably my favorite. I'm always going to be happy for those people who are like, the Kelvin timeline is so polarizing, but definitely my favorite. Speaking of Voyager, I can't wait for the documentary whenever it comes out. Yes. I've actually been sending a lot of when I backed the Kickstarter for the Voyager documentary, they sent me postcards with like some Voyager stuff on it. So I've been sending people postcards. I love sending mail for those of you that don't know, but I been sending out little Voyager postcards. I don't know if people actually know they're from Voyager, but I do. All right, we're moving up into the category with like threes listed. At least it was listed at least 3 times. We have things like Deep Space Nine's Dr. Bashir, I presume, Strange New Worlds Quality of Mercy, uh, the original series, Journey to Babel. We have Drumhead from TNG, which is a great one. I'm surprised it didn't get more. Star Trek Prodigy's listed on there with Time Amok. If you haven't, like I said, Prodigy has so many great episodes, and they reference some things from other series. So it's the Prodigy episode called Time Amok. So it's I don't want to spoil anything. If the title enough is not referenced to an original series episode called Amok Time, that's kind of where we're getting at there. We have like Voyager's The 37s, Voyager's Omega Directive. We have Deep Space Nine's His Way. We have Picard, The Last Generation. I'm surprised. Well, that was obviously we're talking about things from Picard, which is definitely a newer series, which maybe not as many people have had a chance to see. But that I feel like for my comfort episode, especially with Picard, the most recent season of Picard being phenomenal, I would place that higher on my list. Let's move up into the fours that had at least 4. We have Next Generation, The Fistful of Data, Star Trek: The Motion Picture is on there. I think the motion picture for sure, just the starship entrance, going to see that entry sequence is enough for me, for sure. We have Amok Time on there from TOS. We have Voyager's Tinker Tenor Dr. Spy. We have some Lower Decks on there with Wedge Dudge. City on the Edge of Forever from the original series is in there. Darmok is on there. Those are some great 4s, I would say. Let's look at chat. Q2 was a fun episode. Yes, I agree. Oh, Christopher's here. He says he just ended a Boy Scout meeting. It's 8:31. And then especially when it's about Q2 when it's John Delancey's actual son was in the episode. Yes. Let's move up into our at least 5 votes. We have Measure of a Man from TNG. We have It's Only a Paper Moon, Deep Space Nine, Balance of Terror from the original series, Voyager's Message in a Bottle, Time's Arrow from TNG, a great one. All Good Things from TNG is also on there. The Visitor from Deep Space Nine is in that also, in that section. That one is hard because it's a great episode, but it always makes me so sad. So I don't know if I would rate that as comforting for me, but it's definitely like it's an episode that makes you feel something. Let's move up into the 6s because I already know I'm running over time. For 6s, we have stuff like Deep Space Nine's Little Green Men, Best of Both Worlds from TNG is on there. That actually is usually a highly requested episode. Best of Both Worlds. Doomsday Machine from the original series was on there. Deep Space Nine's Far Beyond the Stars, as well as Way of the Warrior are in that section. Let's move up into the 7s. We only have 2 for at least 7 or more votes. We have Deep Space Nine's Bada Bing Bada Bang and TNG's Yesterday's Enterprise. I love Yesterday's Enterprise. I am a huge Tasha Yar fan, so getting to see her again was, um, just the the best. Let's move up into the 8s. Just for some reference, the most times in my recording of all of the comfort episodes, the most times that one is listed is 27 consecutive times. And like I said, there were things in the thread also where people would just say all of Deep Space Nine or all of TNG are my favorite. And obviously that was not data that I recorded. That was me saying, "Oh, that's great that TNG was all of it." But the actual graph is based on more of the individual episodes. Um, and there were people who just listed one episode in their response, and there were other people who listed like 20 episodes in their response. And I did my best to record every single one. So let's move up into the 8s, is what I had next, at least 8 votes. We're looking at Wrath of Khan, which I'm not surprised is definitely up in the higher. We have Carbon Creek from Enterprise, which is definitely one of my comfort episodes. I love to call. We have The Undiscovered Country is on there. Deep Space Nine's Magnificent Ferengi is also on there. We have some stuff in chat. John says Denise Crosby loves that episode. I'm assuming that's referring to Yesterday's Enterprise. Todd says Strange New Worlds ad Astra per Aspera. Christopher says Way of the Warrior, Best of Both Worlds, Yesterday's Enterprise, and Scorpion are my favorite episodes. And those have all, I think I've mentioned all of them so far. Yeah, Christopher, I've mentioned every single one of those episodes that's been on here. There's only one that got 9 or more. Well, 9, at least 9, I guess is what I'm saying. And that's Data's Day. That's a great one. Then we jump from 9 to 12. So Inner Light, which is what a lot of you mentioned right away in chat when I had said, what do you think are some people's Star Trek comfort episodes? Inner Light is listed with 12 votes. So that's definitely a big one, a jump from 9 to 12. Then we have 2 13s. We have Deep Space Nine's Take Me Out to the Holosuite. Awesome. I still need to get my Deep Space Nine hat with the Niners on it. We have First Contact also. Great movie. Let's see. We're moving up into 15 then is our next category, and that's In the Pale Moonlight, which was also mentioned in chat when I opened up the prompt of like, which one do you think? In the Pale Moonlight is a great one, but it's one that you definitely have to, I feel like, sit with for a while after you're done. Then we move to 16, and that's Trouble with Tribbles. The original series Trouble with Tribbles, the OG Tribble episode. Being that I have a giant Tribble, as well as just a normal size Tribble from shout out to Science Division who used to sell the App Interactive Tribbles. Tribbles are always a great comfort episode. Then moving to 16, we actually Subspace Rhapsody, which is a musical episode from Strange New Worlds, was listed very highly with 16 votes. Very, very catchy. All the songs are always, I feel like, always stuck in my head. We move into also, this is in the same category as Subspace Rhapsody with 22 votes. We're looking at Those Old Scientists, which is the crossover episode with Lower Decks, which is really for me. I love Lower Decks, and I love Strange New Worlds. So crossover episodes are so fun, and it got me thinking about like just going back through and watching all of the crossover episodes that we've seen. So I think I might be doing that soon. We are moving into our top 2 categories. So for those of you that have been following along, I'm curious. You know the ones I've mentioned so far. We have the top 2 left to go. Which ones do you think are the top 2 that have not already been listed or that I've not already said? So if you wanna post in chat what you think the top 2 might be, we're I think you guys might be able to get this. I'll give you a hint. One of them is a movie, is a Star Trek movie. And then one is an episode. But, uh, John says, "Rest in peace, Aaron Eisenberg. We all miss him. We're friends on Facebook. I can't defend him." Yeah, that well, I was we were just talking about, uh 'cause I know Seventh Rule is doing some amazing stuff right now, and I've been following all their stuff. They're doing stuff like Virtual TrekCon and all of that, and it just got me thinking about, like, how, like, Aaron was such a pioneer in making that happen. Um, he is very, very dearly missed. Let's see, Christopher says, "For the top 2, I think I prefer Trials and Tribulations more than Trouble with Tribbles," and then John says, "Star Trek for the Voyage Home." Wrath of Khan is always a favorite, yes. Wrath of Khan, I think, was already yes. Wrath of Khan at 8 votes, but yes, always a favorite. Errand of Mercy is also listed. Mark says Errand of Mercy. So, um, we're running over time, so I will say, with 24 votes, we have Star Trek for the Voyage Home. Yes, the one with the whales. Uh, so you guys are, like, on the dot. You definitely got it. That was mentioned a lot, and for a while I was recording the data, it was, like, back and forth between Voyage Home and the top spot, for sure. It was, like, then one was higher, and then the other was higher, and I was like, "Which one is it gonna be?" But yes, Star Trek 4 takes home silver. And then we have up next our top spot. It is, uh, it's from Deep Space Nine, if that's a hint enough for you. We'll see if it gets mentioned in chat. It might already have been mentioned in chat. We'll see. Baron Thomas says Star Trek: The Next Conversation podcast is pretty amazing too. Yes. I've only had a chance to listen to a little bit of The Next Conversation. That's one of the podcasts I need to definitely follow up on. Um, and he also says, "Where else are you streaming?" Because he's watching from YouTube. So streaming also on X, on I believe Instagram is working. We're also on Facebook. Um, yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Let's see. Rick says, "I love when Spock gets the guy with the boombox." Oh, from yes, yes. But okay, I will give you a hint. It has been mentioned in chat. It's a Deep Space Nine episode is the top spot. So if you think you know what Deep Space Nine episode is number one, post it in chat. It has been mentioned by somebody already. This is one I'm also not surprised has taken home the top spot. It's also another one of those crossover episodes that I had mentioned. So if you that's not I guess if that's not enough of a hint. Uh, all right. Our top spot with 27 votes is Deep Space Nine's Trials and Tribulations. With, like Christopher, I just said, I think I prefer Trials and Tribulations more than the Trouble with Tribbles. So yes, that is what took home the top spot. Trials and Tribulations for the most listed Star Trek comfort episode. I'm not I don't wanna say I'm not particularly surprised. That is definitely an episode when I'm in a slump and you just want something that's great to watch. That is one that I feel like I immediately go to. I also always, as those of you that know me, always go back to TNG's Ensign Ro, being that Ro is my favorite character. So, that is 100% a comfort episode for me. But I just loved being able to record all of these, um, and there was, like I said, so many episodes listed. Like, there were, like I said, 500 some responses, and that was of people, like I said, some posted, like, 20 episodes in their one thread. So there's so much Star Trek to enjoy, and that like, just being able to see all of the different episodes and ones that I haven't seen in a long time, or I haven't rewatched in a long time, so I don't know that I remember everything that happens in the episode. So, definitely this list is something I'm gonna go back to and be able to watch these episodes now that I have more time to watch and to react to them. So, thank you all for accompanying me on this fun, little experience of trying to figure out what people's favorite Star Trek comfort episodes are. John says that was a great episode. Also, the episodes with Vic Fontaine, they're some of his favorite. Or Vic Fontaine is one of his favorite characters from Deep Space Nine. Um, oh, okay. Baron Thomas says, "Were you happy with Commander Rowe as portrayed in Picard season 3?" Oh, that could be a whole video that I feel like I make about that. Um, ooh, I'll just say I have more thoughts about it. So maybe I should make a video about how I feel about that. Christopher says, "Do I have a favorite Lower Decks episode?" Um, oh man, I feel like I have a lot of favorite Lower Decks episodes. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'm being that the episodes are only they're not quite as long, and, I mean, now we're looking at a decent amount of seasons. They're from, like, the names of the Lower Decks episodes, I'm not as familiar with, so I'm definitely gonna have to go back and review all of the names. Rick says, "Great to have you back." Uh, John says, "You should make a video about that." Oh, yeah. I definitely will make a video. Um Let's see, Rick says, "What's your favorite original series episode?" Oh, maybe I should just make a video of all of my favorite episodes from every series. That seems to be something that is being requested. Favorite original series? I really like City on the Edge of Forever. I also really like Amok Time. Uh, episode Lower Decks is my comfort ep. Lower Decks as in from TNG, the Lower Decks episode. Um, yeah, I'll have to like I said, I'll have to go back on that. Hey, Griffey, what are you doing? My dog is ever, as always, picking his toes. And now Chopper's in the frame too, my other dog. But I think with Chopper's entrance, he's definitely letting me know it's time for me to be done. So, I will have to, as you guys suggested, make some of these videos about Ro Laren, about my favorite episodes from different series. I also have a lot of episodes that I I'm wanting to react about, which I'm planning on doing in my blog, as I'm doing a rewatch, trying to just record my thoughts about a lot of different episodes. I also think that it's just I feel like I always talk about the episodes, but I don't always get a chance to critically review them. So that's something that I'm going to want to move more into. I'm trying to build this base of Star Trek knowledge as like I have a lot of offhand, just like oh yeah, I remember that episode or I remember this episode, but I'd like to make that a little bit more consistent and to be able to recall specific parts of episodes a little bit better. Because I find myself, and this is not a bad thing by any means, but I find myself doing a lot of like, oh, was it this episode or oh, was that the one where this happened? And so I think I just want to be able to remember that a little bit more. So yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a thing. Also, for those of you that really quick as a sign off, for those of you that participated in the Tea Trekkie holiday card campaign, like I said, there's been a lot of stuff going on in my life lately, but for those of you that signed up and received a card and donated money through Ko-fi, which thank you to all of you that did. My one of one of my dogs was going through a lot of medical stuff. He's no longer with us, but sending all these cards all around the world is not cheap by any means. Postage gets expensive, especially when you're sending out like 100, 200, 300 different cards. And so I kind of did like a little campaign where if you donated money that I would enter in your name for an Okinawa care basket, which I had been meaning to follow back around, and then all that stuff with my dog passing away happened, and I just needed some time. But for those of you that did donate money, I have a record of all of your names, and after this video today, I am going to be doing a drawing, which I will like make a little animation to show like everyone that donated, and then like process of like the random selection. So then I will be able to get those care baskets out to you because we're looking already at the end of January and I need to get those out. But keep an eye out for that. Christopher says, thanks for the card. I really appreciate it. I love stationery and I love sending out cards. So that is something I will always be happy to do. Official sign off. You can find me in a variety of places if you have not already found stuff from me. I mean, obviously, you're watching, if you're here, you're watching it on some sort of platform. But I have a YouTube channel, and that's if you look up T Trekkie, I'm pretty much T Trekkie everywhere. But X T Trekkie, Instagram T Trekkie. You can find me on T Trekkie on Facebook, T Trekkie on Twitch. Also, I am planning on streaming some more Star Trek games, such as Star Trek Online, which I have been doing a ton of grinding on Star Trek Online lately. And let's see, I believe I'm also T Trekkie on Mastodon. If you're on Mastodon, you can check in there. But yeah, I'm on all those different platforms if you want to check it out. And then, like I said, I'm really looking forward to getting back into content creation. I have a lot of things that I've kind of been, while I'm not doing content creation, it's all been there. It's all kind of just been here, and I've been waiting to talk about it. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that again. So if you want to follow me on any of those platforms, you'll be able to see my content. And then I always kind of sign off with a signature like "Live long and prosper" and "Trek on." Thank you guys so much for coming to Tall Talk today. Um, I hope I'll be able to do it next week. If you have some thoughts about what you'd like me to talk about next week, feel free to comment on, not in chat, but well, you can in chat. I'll see it too. But you want to comment on wherever you're watching the video if you have like an idea or a thought of a theme that you'd like me to chat about. I went over by 20 minutes, and I'm not surprised. I need to really tailor this down, but. Um, Thank you all. It feels really good to be back. And I'm excited to see what 2024 has in store in regards to Star Trek. But not just Star Trek. I like other things too. I like Star Wars. And I like there's so many. Stargate and Battlestar Galactica and Lost in Space and Avatar the Last Airbender and Inuyasha and I could go on forever. I have a million different fandoms. So I'm not just a Trekkie. I'm a lot of other fandoms too. But thank you all so much. Have a great day. Live long and prosper. And trek on. Bye.